Okay, Rick. Everyone's talking about how they're using ChatGPT wrong. Um, what do you, how do they keep doing it wrong? What is the shortcoming of just using ChatGPT out of the box?
Yeah, they're treating ChatGPT or AI. They're using it like a Google search, and so they're trying to get results with no context. So it's like, for example, bringing in finding a guy on the street and saying, "Hey, I need a marketing plan. What do you think?" and and he can kind of point you in the right direction of a marketing plan versus having a $500 to $1,000 an hour consultant who knows everything about marketing, who spent 30 years in the industry giving you advice on what you can do for marketing. So that's the difference between just someone using AI without any context, without an OS system behind it, without that AiOS system, versus someone that is using it with an AiOS system.
So once you train the AiOS, it knows about you and your company and your goals and pricing, products,
Exactly.
services,
Everything,
okay.
anything that you put into it, but it knows all the context about your business.
So when you're launching a campaign, then it already knows, and it's only asking you a couple questions.
Right.
Like, what's your start date? What's your budget? Right.
Exactly, because it knows
it.
everything about your business, so far for that. So you've had some recent success with using AI in your sales and marketing for your agency. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah. So what we have found is, and as you know this, like most companies don't have necessarily a leads problem, more of a sales problem. So once we implemented AI, started listening to phone calls, analyzing close rates, and finding out that some of the salespeople weren't really closing properly. They were missing opportunities to close. Most companies don't even record their sales phone calls. When we give them that data and they see, oh, we're not closing because the salesperson's missing a objection handling. Like, that's been an eye opener. And then as far as marketing and the CRM and the sales staff and the people, how everybody hates the CRM. One of the best things about the AI implementation is not having to go back between all these B2B apps and CRM. Like, that's been amazing for us.
Really reducing the amount you're spending on B2B apps because you can use AI to do it.
Yeah, and some people are able to get one single license in a big CRM, HubSpot, Salesforce, and use that one license and use it for all the interactions for the customer and put all that into Slack. Or
if you're using an AI operating system.
Right. Once you get an AiOS built and it knows everything that you need to do and every step along the way and what the sequences are, then you don't have to live within your CRM anymore. That's been great.
That's great. Fantastic.
One of the best use cases for an AiOS is financial data. Touch on how advantageous it is to have an AiOS for your financial.
Yeah, so the AiOS is really, the operating system inside of any company is really, the brain of the company. And then you're plugging into that one of the systems, like in the body. You have the brain and you have the heart and you have the lungs, and so one of those is going to be the financial department. And so we're seeing that you can really reduce costs, and instead of having a full-time CFO, you can have a fractional CFO that's managing some of these things. We're also seeing that in my companies and my agencies that the CEOs can see financial data just by asking for it inside of AI if they have the AiOS system built out and the data is plugged in, instead of having to ask for a report, wait for a week and a half for the report to come, discuss it, say, no, I need to see it in this format. They go back and take a week. So you're getting things instantly now.
So you're asking the AI in natural form language. Give me a report based on this product, this company, this service.
Exactly.
This for this time period.
Exactly.
And
but if you have
like that.
Exactly. And if you have the financial stuff built into the brain inside of the AiOS, then all of that is accessible to you in any way you want to slice it and dice it.
And then what do we hear from one of our accounts said that it is their fractional CFO.
Yeah,
right?
It is their fractional CFO.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's not necessarily all the time replacing like a CFO. It's not like you're firing people, but for a lot of other companies that maybe aren't big enough to have a CFO, now they have someone with a financial background that can be able to handle those things too and bring those strategic elements into it, and even some of the legal elements into it. Instead of having maybe an extra person, they can now do that with less people.
Amazing.
So talk to us a little bit about how you're using an AiOS with the legal aspects of your company, and how is that working with, not just inside the legal department, inside the HR department and the legal stuff inside of that. Talk to us about that a little bit.
So it's amazing because you can take all of your contracts and agreements, employment documents, subcontractor agreements, load it into your AiOS, and now it knows what everything that you have out there and how you usually negotiate and structure deals. So when you go to structure a new deal, it already has the context. So when you're going, let's say now that it has your legal brain side of it, when you go to do a new deal, then it'll basically ask you the basics of, okay, I already know this. Based on that, what date does the contract start? How much are you paying? And what's the end date? Like it means very minimal input because you've already given it everything about you and your company and your deals, right? Isn't that amazing?
It's absolutely amazing. I love that. And then how are you using that maybe with offers for new employees or things like that? Is that the same results?
Yeah, so instead of a customer agreement, you turn it to an HR employment agreement or a subcontractor agreement. Same thing. I'm hiring this person for this job at this price, this start date.
Wonderful.
And you almost need zero editing.
Wonderful.
How accurate it is.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All with an AiOS in place, you can do all of that.
Once you train the brain, it's amazing. Yep.
Love it.
So let's talk about AI for competitive analysis, or some people call it SWOT, but the threat factor of the competitive analysis. What your experience in using it for? What, company pricing, product pricing, launch campaigns?
Everything. Yeah. When you are figuring out, so there's two aspects to this. The first one is you can find out a lot more about your competition. If you know who your competition is, you can put URLs into AI chats now, and you can have them scour those websites, and you can have them look at 5 or 6 or 7 of those
of your competitors.
Yeah. And say, hey, build a similarities, and here's my website, and build a SWOT analysis for each and every single one of those. Or if you don't know all your competitors, hey, who are some of my competitors? Again, if you have the AiOS, if you've trained the brain, so to speak, and it knows what you do in your ICP and who you're targeting and what you guys do and sort of things like that, if you have that built out, it makes it much easier for AI then to be able to help you to find other companies in the space that are going to be your biggest competitors. And then it can start telling you how you are similar to them, what your differences are. I recently ran one for a client. I didn't know anything about the client's competition, but I did know a whole bunch about the client and building out a AiOS for them. And the AI was able to tell me a whole bunch of competitors that I'd never heard of before. I asked for a list of 10, and then it started matching up and saying, okay, this is actually the biggest competitor, not by revenue size, but the one that you actually match up with the most. And then bringing it back to the client, and the client was like, yeah, how did you know that? But AI can do it.
And was the one when we worked on this together, they didn't know their USP, unique selling proposition.
Yep.
And all we had to do was plug it in what the products was, their product and service was versus the competitors, and it told them differentiator what their unique selling proposition was.
Exactly. And new areas strategic markets that they could move into that their competitors were doing, that this particular client had one area that they're focusing on, but wasn't focusing on the other areas. And by doing that analysis of all of their competitors, we were able to put together 10 to 12 different strategic areas that this client could move into very easily. It was a sideways integration that they could be able to do, but we had that AiOS inside of the brain had been trained, and we were able to then start asking AI the right questions to get the right answers.
One of the biggest things we keep hearing from our clients and our people is that once we have trained the AiOS brain for them or with them, they get to talk to it naturally like a human. What's your experience with that?
Yeah, it really is amazing. And so it's great if you're putting this information in, but then if you can connect data sources to the brain, if you can connect data sources to the OS, then that's where you're exponentially growing. So for example, one of our companies, we have nasty amounts, I call it nasty, just all kinds of amounts of data that in years past, I had to pay data analysts to be able to tell me what the data says. I don't have to use the analysts as much inside of those spaces. I can use them for other really deep thinking stuff. But I can just ask AI now. I can ask my AiOS what certain questions like, hey, what's the average age of my client? This is a B2C company. And what's the average age of my client? What's the average spend? What's the ARR? What's the MRR? You know, what are these different things? What are we getting? And it can spit it out really quick. Yeah. Something that was cool the other day, I'd never thought about this. For this B2C company, we asked it, where are the top locations of our clients? Not something you think about all the time, but when you're thinking about ad spend and things like that, we're trying to look for lookalikes. So, and this started telling us, hey, you have a lot of clients in Florida, you have a lot of clients in upstate New York. That was eye-opening to us because we plugged the data in, and my data analysts have never told us that before. It's not something we had necessarily thought about, but that started changing things on our marketing spend, how we could start targeting these different areas because we knew we already had lookalikes in those in demographics in those regions.
Yeah, very cool. And okay.
So a lot of entrepreneurs and even small to medium-sized business founders and CEOs are stuck in the business. They're working in the business. They're employed by the company instead of working on the business. How have you found that having an AiOS is helping those people deal with those problems?
So that's a good question because really, once you have trained your AiOS all about you, your company, your processes, your really patterns of making decisions, you've really duplicated yourself. And when you're sharing that data with your team, that means that you don't have to be there for every question. Like we've seen scenarios where founders are able to train it, go off the grid, so to speak, and their employees can ask the AiOS, how would, Jeb handle this situation? What should we do? What's our normal? And 98% correct. Once it's trained, really 100% correct because it knows all your data. It's not hallucinating and not thinking, it's not looking at the internet, it's looking at your data. So it really duplicates the founder, and the more data, good data you give it, the better the answer and results. But it really allows a founder to put his and her systems, process, thoughts, analysis, reactions into feeding this brain, and then letting the team borrow from it and use from it and ask questions to it.
Let me ask a deeper question with that. Let's go second level here. So what does that do for the founder or for the CEO?
It's founder freedom. That's what everybody wants, right? I mean,
so now they have a business that's not tied to them. They can sell it. They can exit if they want to. Yeah. They can sell it. They can. And lifestyle company.
Yeah, and we know some of those that either the founder's already done two or three businesses, and now kind of ready to dial back a little bit and down Argentina, off the grid for a few days. AiOS allows a founder to disappear for a little while, take a break, not have to be there for every major decision without hiring a project manager or a VP. That's the most amazing thing about it. Like it really is allowing you to duplicate yourself without having to hire somebody. That's amazing, right?
It's worth its weight in gold.
So companies, there's some companies that are successful. We know some doing 1, 2, 3, 5 million a year, don't have AI, and they're like, why do I need AI now? Why? I haven't had it. Why do I need it now?
The shortest answer I can give you is competition.
It's too complex, Rick.
Well, it is complex. It is complex, but we have developed a system, operating system that companies can use, and we help them walk through this system, implementing this inside of their own company, of how they can use AI to to do so many different tasks that they've been doing manually. It's helping do more in shorter amount of time. It's helping turnaround times shrink dramatically. It's helping the way we iterate. It's helping us do those faster. So when AI right now, that's your question is kind of like if I go back, I don't know, 25, 30 years. It's like someone in 1995 saying, well, why do I need a website? Just wait, you're going to need one.
That.
Yeah.
And why do I need an Excel spreadsheet?
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. Before that, you know, so this is the new thing. This is the fastest and most disruptive technology that we have seen grow, faster than cell phones, faster than iPhone, faster than internet, faster than anything so far. It's changing and evolving so quick, and it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and it's democratized. So no longer like as we go back to the 60s and the 70s, the IBM mainframe computers, and you no longer have to be a multi-billion or multi-million-dollar organization to use it. A guy, you know, sitting in his mom's basement can be able to put this stuff together, and so that's the big reason why you want to start using AI, because your competition is using it, and you will get left behind. Whatever industry you're in, it doesn't really matter. AI can help you if that's giving you more freedom as an owner, if that's giving you an ability to be able to exit so you're not the one doing everything, if that's helping you to iterate faster, if that's helping you with marketing tools, if that's helping you with finance or legal, or AI can help in all of those areas. I haven't found an industry yet where AI can't help you in.
And it does increase your company valuation because it's automating processes that normally be handled by humans. So not only is it giving the founder freedom, but it's also looks really good to a buyer. It's like, oh, that's all automated. People are, I think they're daunted by that thought of how do I implement AI? And the reason we started this and did this is to make it easier.
Yeah, it is very daunting. And so we have clients all over the spectrum, right? We have clients that are doing over $1 billion in revenue. We have clients that are doing $500,000 in revenue. And it is difficult, but we have built these in our own companies and our own systems and have proven this out. And now we want to help as many companies as possible gain that competitive advantage and be able to do this easily over a couple of different weeks. We're not talking about years and millions of dollars.
And it's not, and the way we've broken it down, it's not as daunting as like starting from a blank page. It's just follow these formulas, these steps, and meet with us weekly. Let's get you on the page where you stock. Let's get your data in there piece at a time, right?
Yep, it's using centuries old methodologies. It's using systems, it's using processes, it's having SOPs, the standard operating procedures, on what you're doing. If you can build those out, then you can put things into AI. You just want to be able to do it in the right framework, and that's what we're helping companies do.
Yeah.